Okay, welcome back to the channel. Today is November 27th. It is Thanksgiving Eve, and every NBA team plays today. All 30, which means we have 15 games to predict today. I'm gonna go over these somewhat quickly just because, no, this is my fault, nobody else's fault. It is 4 in the morning. And I am just getting started on these. I still am making the college basketball video, obviously the best bets. You've already seen that here on the channel because that video was posted 2 hours before this video. There's a lot of games, so I'm going to try my hardest to go over this as quick as possible, but every time I say that, the video ends up being longer than expected. So honestly, I don't know. I'm just going to start getting on a tangent about teams, and we'll see where we end up. So again, 15 games for the NBA today. Every team plays on Wednesday night because there are no NBA games on Thanksgiving. Now, if you need best bets for college basketball on Thanksgiving, that video will still be up on the channel tomorrow at its normal time, around 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and we also have our NFL predictions dropping today later on the channel. We'll get to that in a second, but we do have some bets elsewhere on the channel as well. Folks, again, make sure to go check out our college basketball predictions. That video is predicted, my goodness, a video is posted a couple hours ago here on the channel. Link is in the description down below. Our college football predictions were posted yesterday, so go check that video out. We've got a pick for tonight's or tomorrow night's college football game if you need a pick for tomorrow. Again, that's not the NBA. Our PFL World Championship predictions, of course, with Brendan Lofney and Timur Hizraev for the PFL Featherweight Championship in the main event, as well as our NFL predictions that are being posted later today here on the channel. Okay, let's get into the first of these 16 predictions. And folks, if you haven't yet though, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions, again, here on the channel. No NBA tomorrow, but on Friday we'll be back. Okay, our first game, Miami and Charlotte. Now, okay, the real quick rundown in this game is the Charlotte Hornets get Chino Hills LaMelo Ball playing for them right now. I'm not joking. That is literally what's going on here in Charlotte right now. LaMelo Ball is approaching an NBA, approaching a day-to-day NBA games, or every single game, LaMelo Ball plays like he's still at Chino Hills. I mean, just look at the shots he's taken. Now, the run that LaMelo's gone on these last 2 games is insane. 50 points in a loss to the Bucks. He scored 44 against the Orlando Magic in a loss for the Hornets. How many points did the Hornets score in total that game? They scored 84. So LaMelo Ball had 44 out of their 84 points. That means the rest of his team only had 40. Like my math there? No, that's bad. That's really bad. That's why we're taking the Miami Heat. I mean, no amount of effort that that LaMelo Ball can put up, is going to equate the Hornets to win a basketball game, guys. They're that bad right now. Sure, they took a day off yesterday, and Miami obviously just came off that loss to the Milwaukee Bucks that we predicted correctly yesterday. But I don't see a world where the Heat lose to this Hornets team. Again, outside of LaMelo Ball, where do they get their production from? I'll wait. Exactly. They have no production elsewhere. Give me the Miami Heat to win this basketball game. The spread is, 4.5 in the Spectrum Center in Charlotte. They should be able to cover that line. Give me the Miami Heat to beat the Charlotte Hornets and cover the 4.5 points as well. Next up, we go to Cleveland. You've got the Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the Atlanta Hawks. We like the Hawks to cover here just because we usually like the Hawks to cover basketball games. But we are taking the Cavaliers to win. Again, don't forget, I mean, the Cavaliers are 17-1 this year. Their only loss still is that one loss to Boston. I'd expect them to beat Atlanta in this basketball game, obviously. And sure, Cleveland has covered game in and game out so far this season, but I do think Atlanta is able to cover this 11.5 points. They have lost 3 games in a row, but given, the Mavericks game, 10-point loss, they would have covered in that one. Chicago was a 14-point loss, and the Golden State loss was by a lot. But that just shows to me that the Hawks are due to cover here against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They will play this team again on Friday after Thanksgiving. That game, though, will be in Atlanta, Georgia instead of Cleveland. And, I found it today on Twitter that Atlanta, Georgia is more west than Detroit, Michigan. I couldn't believe my eyes. Maybe I'm getting trolled here on Twitter, but just very randomly, I saw this today, and I couldn't believe it. Hold on. I'll show you. I couldn't believe this. If you can see this on the screen. Yeah, I couldn't believe. How is Atlanta farther west than Detroit? That's crazy to me. Regardless, give me the Atlanta Hawks to cover. Again, I'm higher, that's the better word, on the Atlanta Hawks than pretty much I think anybody is. I get it. They're not that great of a basketball team. They are 7-11, but I do really like Trae Young, right? They're on the brink right now, I guess, of a play-in spot. Obviously, again, we are, not even 20 games into the season yet. I understand that. But I don't mind the Hawks at all in this spot. I think they should be able to cover against the Cavs. I have no doubt in my mind that Cleveland doesn't win this basketball game, obviously, with their, with their stars, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, as long as he, figures it out. And their bigs and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are really good too. Again, I like Atlanta's, supporting cast around Trae Young this season, but that's not enough for me to pick them to win the basketball game. I do like them to cover, but not too confident on the pick. But yes, give me Atlanta to cover and give me Cleveland to win. Next up, we go on to Indiana. We got the Indiana Pacers taking on the Portland Trailblazers. Guys, Tyrese Halliburton's back. I'm so happy. Tyrese is back, guys. It's about time. 34 points in their win against the New Orleans Pelicans. And I get it. It was the New Orleans Pelicans. But Tyrese Halliburton scoring 34 and 13 had me feeling like I was back in the Gainbridge Fieldhouse like I was 10 times last season. I felt like the Pacers are back. Tyrese Halliburton is back. The Winter Soldier is back. And this is what we thought the Winter Soldier was going to be bringing to this team at the beginning of the season. Okay, this is what we need out of Tyrese Halliburton. We need him to string together back-to-back great games. Again, 34 and 13, those are all-star numbers. Those are the numbers that's going to get Tyrese Halliburton back to his third straight all-star game this season. Again, we got to get Tyrese back into the all-star game, and these are the numbers we need to see. Again, his production in terms of assists, great. Every night he's going to put up at least 8 assists per game, probably 9 for this Indiana squad. It's all about the scoring, and it's all about that three-point ball that finally got going in their win over the Pelicans. Given they didn't cover in that basketball game. And that's why I'm not taking them to cover in this game either. I actually do like Portland to cover the 10.5 points. Guys, I love the Pacers, but the Pacers should not be favored. They should not be getting 10.5 points against anybody in the league right now, just because that's the way they're playing. Given, I think the Pacers during the stretch, we talked about it before their last game against the New Orleans Pelicans, and I will say it again. I think the Pacers are in an incredible spot right now to go on a huge run. Again, let's go over their schedule real quick. Already beat Washington, already beat New Orleans. You get Portland at home, Detroit at home. In Memphis is a rough game, but still. Then you go up to Toronto. Then you go to Brooklyn, to Chicago, and then you get the Hornets. Those are so winnable games, man. At worst, the Pacers should only lose one game in this stretch. Now, them covering is a whole other thing, because again, I wouldn't trust Indiana to cover against anybody. But they should be stacking up some wins. Again, it's about damn time. They're 8 and 10. No, it's time for the Pacers to start getting back into the elite of the Eastern Conference, because that's where they are. Okay, give me Indiana to win the game. I do like Detroit to cover. Sorry, Portland to cover. Excuse me. They're shooting with Anthony Simons at points. Jeremy Grant really produces for this team. Oh, no bigs though. Oh wow, Aiden's out. Donovan Clingan's out, and Robert Williams is out. Oh wow, Jabari Walker's gonna have to play center. Still, I don't care. I don't care who's playing for the Trailblazers, guys. The Pacers should not be favored to beat anybody by more than 10 points. That's ridiculous. I like Indiana a lot to win the game, but even with the injuries, give me Portland to cover. Again, another hesitant pick considering the line, but yes, give me Indiana to win and Portland to cover. Next up, we move on to Orlando, Florida. You got the Orlando Magic taking on the Chicago Bulls. This is a big spread, though, we will take. We're going to take Orlando to cover the 11.5 points. They have been able to hit on this a lot this season. I know their last game, technically, they wouldn't have covered. Actually, the last 2 games they wouldn't have covered. The last 2 games they lost. They won both those games by 11 points, so they wouldn't have covered the 11.5. But honestly, the way the Bulls are playing right now, I know they just beat the Wizards, which they're supposed to. Obviously, we saw the one coming from a mile away. Why were the Wizards getting 5.5 points at home? That was ridiculous. The Bulls took care of business and won the game by 19 points. But I don't think the Bulls are playing all that great right now. Yeah, they beat the Wizards, but everybody beats the Wizards right now. So that, you can't put any stock into that victory. Look at the other games the Bulls have played. They gave up 142 points to the Grizz and lost. They beat the Hawks, lost to the Bucks, beat the Pistons, got blown out by the Rockets, got blown out by the Cavs. I don't know. The Bulls just give up so many points. And Orlando is a team, sure, where they are one of the lower scoring teams in the league, and a really good defensive team with the exception of Franz Wagner. Franz Wagner does everything for the squad, and he's by far their best player. Again, Wagner, every game they have won in this little winning streak where they've won, 10 out of 11, Franz Wagner has led them in scoring every single night they've won. The only loss was that loss at the Intuit Dome to the Clippers where Anthony Black led their team in scoring. Obviously, the other half of the world-famous Anthony Black and Grady Dick jersey swap, which of course spelled... I would say it, but I feel like it's kind of a childish joke. Regardless, it was hella funny, I'm not gonna If you haven't seen it, look up the Anthony Black, Grady Dick jersey swap. It was hilarious last season. I'm sure you've seen it. But regardless, give me the Magic to blow out the Bulls here. Again, the Bulls are in a second half of a back-to-back. Just finally won a game. Obviously, they've been trading off wins and losses, but Chicago just won a game. They beat the Wizards. I would not expect them to win back-to-back games or even cover in back-to-back games. Give me the Orlando Magic to win at home and to cover the 11.5 points as well against the Chicago Bulls. Next up, we move on to Philadelphia. I want to pick Jared McCain so bad, but I can't here because you know what? I have been the #1 Rockets hater all season long. Not because I have anything against the Houston Rockets. I really don't. It's just I'm just convinced this team's gonna blow up eventually. But you know what, guys? I'm done saying this team's gonna blow up eventually. Now, every time I say they're gonna blow up, right? They end up winning. And every time I jump on, oh, you know what? Let me take Houston. They lose the Portland Trailblazers. Guys, I don't understand this team, okay? They just beat the Timberwolves. Fred VanVleet had his little revenge game last night in Minnesota after, again, getting fined $50,000 and telling all the refs at that last game where they played Portland, you a bitch, you a bitch, you a bitch. And eventually, again, VanVleet, of course, got the fine, but he balled out last game, scored 27 and 11 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I understand Houston's on a second half of a back-to-back, but I do still like them to be a Philadelphia team that is without Paul George, that is without Joel Embiid, and that is without Jared McCain's veteran mentor and Kyle Lowry. Okay, who cares? Guys, Jared McCain, again, he's the rookie of the year. He's the best rookie in all of basketball right now. He's averaging 17 points a night, but that number, again, isn't, where it really should be because, again, he played less minutes at the beginning of the season. No, Jared McCain is a starting, guard on this team, and he is an elite, I will say this, he's an elite basketball player in this NBA. Again, is he top 20? No. Is he top 30? Is he top 50? That's a conversation we might need to start having. That's how good Jared McCain is. I'm serious. The guy can hoop. The problem for the Sixers, though, he has no help. Besides Maxey, he's literally got no help. Those guys are just doing it all by themselves. And the Rockets, I think, just play all-around fundamental team basketball. They play better fundamental team basketball. That's why I'm taking the Rockets to win this game. Again, they've got a lot of guys that can hurt you. I've been opposed to picking the Rockets all season long, but I'll be honest with you, they have so many guys that can hurt you. Alfred Sengun, Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet, Jabari Smith, Dylan Brooks. They've got guys that can hurt you all game long, and I do like their bench unit more than what the Sixers have, again, with the injuries especially. Giving the Houston Rockets to win this basketball game. They will cover the 4.5 points in the road. And again, you know how this goes. Every single time I'm like, you know what? Give me the Rockets. They find a way to lose. I hope they finally get the job done, but you know what? I'm going to be cheering for Jared McCain. I cheer for Jared McCain every day. I like the guy. Anyways, let's move on to our next one here. We go to the Washington Wizards versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Give me the Clippers by a million. That goes without saying. The Wizards are coming off the second half of a back-to-back. Again, we say it every day with the Wizards, but this team somehow magically won back-to-back games against the Atlanta Hawks in late October, and they have not won a game in the month of November. They have 2 more shots to win a game in the month of November. They get the Clippers tonight, and then on Saturday, they go to Milwaukee. Guys, they're not winning either of those games. Then how do they get rewarded after? Oh, to Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, Memphis. Oh my goodness. This team's not winning a game for the rest of the year. I'm serious. Their best chance is December 19th against the Charlotte Hornets. They're not getting that, okay? December 21st against the Bucks on the road, no. OKC, the 23rd, no. Charlotte at home, ooh, the 26th, they get 2 shots to beat Charlotte. But you know what? No, LaMelo's going to show up for those 2 games. Knicks back-to-back on the 20th and 30th, and that would close them out with 0 more wins here in 2024. I think it's a possibility. And again, the thing I say about the Wizards all the time is they don't play close basketball games. They get blown out by double figures in every single game they play. Seriously. They've had 1 game in this entire losing streak since beating Atlanta where they've lost by single digits. That's how bad this Wizards team is. I don't care who's suiting up for the Clippers, honestly. I don't care. Like, they could be suiting up, I don't know, Bob Cousy. Was Bob Cousy no, he wasn't. Wait, no, he was definitely not wait, did he play at the tail end of his career for the Clippers? Well, who were the Clippers? They used to be San Diego, right? No, it wasn't Bob Cousy. God, was it Bob Dandruff? Is that his name? Dandruff's a hair condition. What was his name? Dandridge? Bob Dandridge, got it. He was a Clipper, right? No, why did I think he played on the Clippers? He was on the Bucks. Regardless, the Clippers could suit up Baron Davis. There you go, that's what I was looking for. They can suit up Baron Davis, Corey Maggette, and all these guys, and Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal played for the Clippers, right? Chris Kamen's what I'm looking for. Jermaine O'Neal played for the Clippers? Did he? I thought he did. No, he didn't. Okay, whatever. They could suit up Corey Maggette, Baron Davis, and Chris Kaman, and they win this basketball game by more than 10.5 points. I'm serious. I don't care who's playing for the Clippers. Oh, is Norman Powell, is he not? I honestly don't even know if Norman Powell is playing this basketball game. Let's check. Is Norman Powell playing? He's not. Don't care. They still blow out this Wizards team because the Wizards, again, he's questionable. No, he might play. Oh, the Wizards are screwed. Again, Norman Powell is going to dominate this basketball team if he plays. If not, James Harden will have a night. Again, anyone can have a night against the Wizards. Who scores for the Wizards? I don't know. Kyle Kuzma, Alex Sarr, kind of, Jordan Poole, Jonas Valanciunas. This team sucks. They're abysmal. Give me the Los Angeles Clippers to win the game in our nation's capital and to cover the 10.5 points as well. We move on now to the Dallas Mavericks hosting the New York Knicks, one of the bigger games of the day. And I don't mind the plus money here for the Mavs at home. I really don't. I understand, again, no Luka Doncic. That's fine. We won't get Luka back until at least after Thanksgiving. We'll see, again, the timetable on him. But I feel fine in picking a Kyrie Irving-led Mavericks team to win this basketball game, especially, again, they won their last game by 10 against the Atlanta Hawks. And sure, the Knicks are coming off a huge victory where they dropped 145 points on the heads of the Denver Nuggets. I get that. OG Anunoby had a career night, 40 points out of Anunoby in that game. You had 17 assists in that game by Jalen Brunson, 15 boards by Karl Anthony Towns. Again, good on the New York Knicks, but they got to go to Dallas for this game. And I get it. They just went to Denver and won. But I do like the home team in this game. Again, I really don't mind this Kyrie-led team. Obviously, again, is it sustainable down the stretch? No. But in certain spots, I do think that the Mavericks can pick up the slack that they lose, obviously, with Luka not in the lineup. I don't mind the Mavericks in this spot. Again, this is one of our underdog picks for the day. I don't mind it. Plus 3.5. You look at the money line, you can get what? Plus 145. I don't mind the spot at all for Dallas. I think they're able to cash here. Give me the Mavericks to win at home against the New York Knicks and to cover the 3.5 points, obviously, as well. The safer play, again, is plus 3.5 for Dallas. I like them both, okay? I like both of those. Give me the Mavericks at home against the Knicks. Next up, we go on to another East versus West game, even though, again, Memphis and Detroit are, on the same part of the country. Why are the Grizzlies in the West? It doesn't make sense. Anyways, the Pistons and the Grizzlies. Yeah, give me the Grizzlies. Give me the Grizzlies to win the basketball game, but I do like Detroit to cover here. Again, the Pistons don't play horrible basketball. Obviously, they had the Jaden Ivey game winner in their last one against the Toronto Raptors, halting the Raptors' little run, obviously, that they had in back-to-back games at home in Toronto. Before that, for Detroit, before their win over the Raptors, they had lost 3 straight games to some, two teams that aren't very good, the Bulls and the Charlotte Hornets. And then, of course, they lost to the Orlando Magic. No shame in that, but as a whole this season, again, Detroit is an 8-11 team, but they're taking on a good team from the Western Conference here in the Memphis Grizzlies. That's why we think the Grizzlies are going to win the game. Obviously, John Morant is back for this Grizzlies squad. But I do think Detroit's kind of able to hang around. The last time Memphis hosted a Eastern Conference team, they only beat them by 6 points. I get that's a very, nitpicky ass stat, but, they beat the Sixers 2 games ago by 6 points, okay? Again, that was without Ja, but I don't know. I think the Pistons are able to kind of hang around in this game. I don't mind what Detroit does, honestly. I like Jaden Ivey a lot. I think, again, with Cade Cunningham being out, Ivey is really able to, excel in that spot. And, of course, the depth the Pistons added in the offseason is pretty decent. Of course, they added Tim Hardaway Jr. They got Tobias Harris back. Again, obviously, they retained Jalen Duren. They've got guys. They got Malik Beasley off the bench now as well. I mean, they've got guys that can help out Cade Cunningham. And also, at the same time, now this Detroit team feels like, okay, Cade's out. We're not completely screwed, okay? So give me the Pistons to cover this line against the Grizzlies. Don't feel great about it, but plus 8.5 for, again, a Pistons team on the road doesn't feel that bad, especially a Pistons team coming off a win. Give me Detroit to cover the 8.5 points, but give me Memphis to outright win the basketball game. Next up, we move on to Minnesota. You got the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Sacramento Kings. I want to ban the Kings so badly. I really do. This team, 8-10 this season. They're getting Jamison Crowder. Oh, no. The league's over, guys. They added Jamison Crowder to the Sacramento Kings. Oh, no. I don't know. I mean, we did pick, correctly the last Kings game when they hosted the Oklahoma City Thunder. We did see that one coming. But the Timberwolves are a team that's struggling as well. Their last win comes on November 17th, last Sunday. They've lost 3 in a row to the Raptors on the road, the Celtics on the road, and they lost in overtime yesterday to the Houston Rockets. And I think that's kind of the hope if you are backing the Kings in this game. It's okay, well, the Timberwolves are coming off a second half of a back-to-back, so that's why you do feel somewhat confident in Sacramento going out and getting the victory. But you know what? I don't feel confident about Sacramento doing anything right. You know what? Again, again, they have games where De'Aaron Fox scores 60 points and they still lose, okay? It's ridiculous. They have games where, again, De'Aaron scores 60, and that's not even more than half of their point total. We talked about earlier in the video, LaMelo Ball drops, 50 points and still 40-something points, and he's got more than half of the Hornets' points. No, guys, the Kings dropped 126 in their loss to the Timberwolves. De'Aaron had 60, and they still lost. That was the last time these two teams played. Again, don't expect De'Aaron Fox to go out for another 60 points here on the road at the Target Center. But guys, I can't trust the Kings to win basketball games. They have a lack of depth. They have a depth problem. Their starting lineup's great, but again, at the end of these games, they kind of tend to get ice cold. I don't know. I don't like Sacramento that much. At the beginning of the season, I was really high on the Sac team, but you know what? Watching them play, this is not a sustainable product. Of course, again, Malik Monk is back. DeMar DeRozan's out. Oh, they're screwed. No DeRozan, that means their depth gets even worse. That's why they brought in Jay Crowder, right? James, he's going by Jay Crowder now? Oh my goodness, I'm tripping. No, he's always been Jay Crowder. Jameson Crowder's the guy of the Redskins or the Commanders. Oh man. Yeah, Jay Crowder. That's not going to solve their problems. But that's why they brought him in, right? Helps out their depth. But now again with DeMar out, that forces who? Is Monk going into the starting lineup? No, it's got to be Kevin Huerter probably. But then your bench unit just gets even worse. Yeah, the Kings are screwed. Give me Minnesota. I don't care how bad the Timberwolves have been playing. They're going to beat this Kings team that is really struggling right now. Give me Minnesota to cover the 4.5 points and win the game outright. Next up, guys, what are we doing here? The New Orleans Pelicans are getting our favorites in a basketball game. No way, no how are we picking the banned New Orleans Pelicans. No, they do not come off the ban list until, DeJounte Murray's back. Still, they're unbanned. They are unbanned. I didn't know DeJounte Murray was back. I thought it was after Thanksgiving. No, Brandon Ingram might not play. Nope, they're still banned. They're still banned. They need at least 2 of their stars in. They need three of their stars in. Sorry. They need 3 of their stars in. Zion's out for a while, but if Brandon Ingram's out, nope. They're still a G League team. Don't care. Toronto wins the basketball game again, and we have to assess this going forward with the Pelicans too. Again, there will come a time. Trust me, there will come a time at this point of the season where I will pick the New Orleans Pelicans to actually win a basketball game. But hear me out. It's the same effect and the same problem we had with the 3-win Philadelphia 76ers at the beginning of the season. Great, Paul George is coming back. Joel Embiid is coming back. But those guys aren't going to immediately take over the basketball game and change the game. Yes, they're going to have influence on it, but you can't rely on those guys to put up the numbers that they were putting up prior to their injury. Same thing applies with DeJounte Murray, who's going to likely be playing his second game as a Pelican against the Toronto Raptors. With that being said, again, DeJounte Murray still needs to get back in the swing of things, and that's why we're taking the Raptors to win the game. I get it, the Raptors are kind of abysmal, sure, but again, I like the young guys on this team. Oh, no Grady Dick. Oh, no Dick for the Raptors on Wednesday night. Okay. Well, there's going to be no Dick in New Orleans this Wednesday, but still, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, they've got guys. Jakob Poeltl's been commanding the glass as well, and I think, again, without Dick, the Raptors still are able to win this basketball game. They will go on the road to New Orleans and get the job done. The Pelicans are still banned until Brandon Ingram is fully healthy, until DeJounte Murray shows that he's still the guy that he was prior to the injury. We are still banned on the Pelicans. When Zion comes back, I will officially lift the ban, but even with Zion, this team wasn't performing all that well. Regardless, give me the Raptors to cover the 3.5 points, but we like the plus 135 value as well for the Raptors. Finally winning their first game in the United States this season. I kid you not. They are winless on the road, which means they have not won since they crossed the northern border. Oh man. Give me Toronto to finally get one done in the States. Next up, we go to the Los Angeles Lakers. You know, I was in a good mood recording this video. I was in a great mood talking some great NBA basketball, and now I have to talk about the damn Los Angeles Lakers. I had hope this year, man. And I still have hope. I still have hope for this Lakers team. Where are we in the standings? 6th. But I had hope, you know. Okay, start season 10-4. We're still undefeated in the in-season tournament. Get blown out in Phoenix. It sucks. It sucks. They've lost 3 in a row, and it all started with that damn game against the Orlando Magic at home on Thursday night, where Anthony Davis could not make a free throw, LeBron James could not make a free throw, and Austin Reeves could not make a free throw when it really mattered. And then Franz Wagner launched a 3 and won the basketball game. They lose to Denver like they always do, and they went on the road to Phoenix and lost. And damn it, now here's the hard schedule. San Antonio, OKC, Utah, don't care. At Minnesota on the second half of a back-to-back. At Miami. Portland, and then in-season tournament stuff in Sacramento. Okay, whatever. But yeah, this is brutal, guys. This is brutal. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think they will beat OKC next Friday, just because again, or a couple of days, because it is at home. It's an IST game. The Lakers can probably still get in the second round as long as they beat the Thunder, just because they will get the wild card, which means they'll get to play with the Warriors, if I'm not mistaken. They'll play the Warriors, I think, in the IST. Who's gonna get the 1 seed in the West? I think it's the Warriors. No. Oh, it's the Rockets or the Warriors. It's definitely the Rockets. Oh, winnable game for the Lakers. Very winnable. Oh, I like that a lot. Holy crap. Wait, no, their point differential's way worse than the Mavericks. No. Oh, they need the Mavs to lose. It's not happening. Who are the Mavericks playing on their next IST game? Because that's going to determine if the Lakers get in or not. Is the Grizz? The Grizz could beat them, but no, Luka will probably be back by then. Regardless, the IST doesn't really matter that much. Anyways, give me the Lakers to actually beat the Spurs. I know. I still have not picked against the Lakers yet this season. There will come a day. As long as the Lakers don't win out until they get to this brutal stretch, there will come a day where I don't pick this team because I'll get sick of it. But guys, you know what? If we can get LeBron James and Anthony Davis at minus 140 value, we're gonna take it. The definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again, except expecting different results. Well, damn it, I'm expecting different results, okay? You know what? It's that whole story about trusting the snake. Okay, this is getting extreme. But, you knew it was a snake when you picked him up. Something like that, that's the story goes. Why keep going back to the same thing that hurt you in the first place? Well, damn it, the Lakers are going to fix all of our problems tonight, guys, after we, lost last night. No, the Lakers are fixing it for us, okay? They're going to do it for us tonight. They're going to beat the Spurs. They've done it before the season in San Antonio. They're going to win again in Charles Barkley's favorite city. Give me the Los Angeles Lakers to go to San Antonio and beat the San Antonio Spurs. As I say that, there probably goes their 4th straight loss. All right, next up, the Phoenix Suns versus the Brooklyn Nets. I'm back to our regularly scheduled, upbeat, quick, fast-paced programming for today. The Brooklyn Nets, we love this team to cover against anybody. 8.5 points, great. Brooklyn, again, gets this game after their last game against the Warriors when did they play the Warriors? That was Monday. They win the game against the Warriors. Hell, again, the Nets always cover for us, and they win these games too. So when is Vegas going to understand the Nets should not be this big of underdogs? Again, we're going to keep laying the plus money on Brooklyn every single night. That's what they do, guys. The Brooklyn Nets devil magic, dark magic, continues to work, okay? And now look at the Suns. Great. Guys, Phoenix, will they load manage? Because of course, KD and Beal had to come back for the Lakers game. Even if they do play, which they probably will, they're not going to be going 100% for this game. They just won their Super Bowl against the Los Angeles Lakers in the in-season tournament, okay? This is a second half of a back-to-back. They put all their effort into beating Los Angeles. Now this is where the Nets catch them by surprise. I think the Suns barely edge out the victory, but give me Brooklyn easily to cover this basketball game. What, plus 8.5? That's too many points. You gave Cam Thomas and Cameron Jordan too many points, and Dennis Schroeder for that matter. You gave these guys too many points. That's what Brooklyn's going to do to you. They find ways to cover, and they have lights out shooting. Give me the big three in Brooklyn. Thomas, Johnson, Schroeder to cover the 8.5 points. That's too much. They might win the game outright. They just won back-to-back games against the Kings and the Warriors. They're coming after the entire Pacific Division. Give me the Nets to cover. I will hesitantly take the Suns to win, but I don't mind the plus 280 here on Brooklyn to win outright, but definitely take the plus 8.5. I really like that. Again, Brooklyn continues to cash for us all season long, just like the South Dakota State Jackrabbits over there with college basketball. Shout out to them beating Missouri State yesterday. I told you. Again, don't bet against the Jacks, man. Don't bet against Oscar Clough and the guys. All right, let's move on to our next one. The Utah Jazz versus the Denver Nuggets. Just who cares? No, give me Denver to cover the 9.5 points. Denver is playing all right. Obviously, they lost their last game to the Knicks. They only show up, of course, when they're playing the Los Angeles Lakers. They look unbeatable when they play the Lakers. And then when they play the Knicks, they get 145 points dropped on their head. And Russell Westbrook is their leading scorer with 27. I mean, come on. Jokic doesn't put up a triple-double. He only puts up 22, 7, and 7, which is still great numbers. But, I mean, hell, I watched this guy torture my favorite team for years, and then, the game after, he just doesn't care anymore. He just wants to go ride his horses in Serbia. God. They'll beat the Jazz. I don't trust the Jazz to win anything. The Jazz just lost yesterday. It was a game that they were close. And again, Utah, they'll play competitive first halves and they'll play competitively in the third quarter as well. But then in the fourth quarter, their opponents will just, run away from them. And that's what the Spurs did. San Antonio won that game by 13 points. Why do we think the Jazz should cover 9.5 points here against the Denver Nuggets? I'll wait. If you can convince me that the Utah Jazz will cover here against the Nuggets with marketing questionable and Jordan Clarkson and Filipowski not playing, that's beyond me. No, the Denver Nuggets dominate this basketball game. They should be getting more than 9.5. We'll take advantage of it. Give me Denver to go on the road to Salt Lake City and cover the 9.5 points. To our nightcap, the Oklahoma City Thunder take on the Golden State Warriors. All right, this is get back. Damn it, this is revenge for Chet Holmgren's injury the last time these two teams played in Oklahoma City. Okay, this is time for our OKC Thunder to get back. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander coming off a 37-point performance in their win at the Golden One Center in Sacramento in their last game. Again, this team is so much better now with Isaiah Hartenstein at center, because again, it gives them a viable a viable 5 now, because Jalen Williams, great basketball player, the guy's 6'7", he's not a center. Hartenstein gives them that bonus, and on top of that, when Chet eventually does come back, perfect. They get a guy as well. They will have a solid backup in Hartenstein that can do damage as well. Again, I told you at the beginning of the season, I think the Thunder are the best team in basketball. Right now, no, it's the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it is the Boston Celtics at number 2. But still, OKC needs to be in that top 5 discussion. No question about it. I don't mind Golden State. Again, I just think and I've said this before the season, and I think the Warriors are kind of due for a little regression here. Obviously, that can be seen with their last 2 losses to the Spurs on the road and to the Brooklyn Nets in their little back-to-back earlier this week, or they played on Saturday and Monday, but regardless, the Warriors are due for some regression, and I've always said this season too, they're going to struggle when they play the elite teams. They won that Thunder game earlier in the year. Well, again, OKC had the distraction of Chet going down and just, it messed with them. But now OKC is going to make it 3 straight losses for the Golden State Warriors. I believe it. I'm taking the OKC Thunder to go to Golden State and win this basketball game. We love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and again, I'm telling you, the addition of the former New York Knicks center and Isaiah Hartenstein really changes the dynamic for the Oklahoma City Thunder. It gives them a true 5, and it really helps out this team as a whole. It's a defensive force for them, and it helps them grab boards as well. I'm taking Oklahoma City to go to Golden State, win the basketball game, and cover the 2.5 points as well. So OKC is our winner in the final game here of this full 15-game slate for the NBA. So folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.